morning, guys. My name is Clyde, and today we are going to talk about the ship restrictions that were announced this morning for World of Warships Land Battles season. Let's get into it. Hey guys, we have had 1 week of Clan Battles action, and as a result, we now have the first week of Clan Battles restrictions. I know a lot of people have some mixed feelings about this particular mechanic that Wargaming is doing to try to balance these Clan Battles. Overall, I think in a ship that has 360 games and lots of variables per ship and lots of variables per map and lots of variables per everything, looking at ship restrictions and bans are probably a positive change, although they can be frustrating. So I recognize that some folks wish the whole game was just generally balanced, but with as many variables as are there, I understand that that is a daunting task. So let's talk about these Clan Battles restrictions and kind of what they're all about. Now, I haven't really scripted or planned out this. I just wanted to get together and have a conversation, I guess with my camera, hopefully with you, to talk about these changes, maybe why they came into play, and what they're going to affect. So first we'll talk about the light cruiser change, or the cruiser change. They're not all light cruisers. Restrictions in number. In total, no more than 2 of Perth, Mysore, Huanghe, London, and Leander. Now, all of those ships have one thing in common, and it is that they can all smoke up. Smoke cruisers, completely uncountered by radar, are extremely powerful, and we are seeing this in very, very big ways this season. I faced multiple teams last night with 3 Huanghes, or 2 Perths and 2 Huanghes, or, you know, Leander's aplenty, that kind of thing. We never saw any Mysores, but Mysore's not as popular a ship here on the NA servers as it is on, I think, EU and other parts of the world. I think Mysore is a strong boat, and so does Skada. In fact, in our ship picks video 2 weeks ago, we did a big 5-hour stream on Twitch where we talked about all of the ships we thought we'd see in Clan Battles, talked about their capabilities, their strengths, their weaknesses, and everything. We turned those into a series of YouTube videos. You can check those out at youtube.com/C as in channel /Clyde Plays, or if you just go there and search Clyde Plays World of Warships, you'll come up with all my content as well. I recommend you go watch that if you're interested. Some of the videos are almost an hour long, and some of them are about 30 minutes long. Lots of bookmarks in there help you navigate around if you don't want to watch the whole thing. Or if you just turn it on kind of like a podcast, you might get a kick out of everything we kind of go over. But look at this. All of these smoke cruisers are out there denying visibility with no radar to counter them, and the acoustics at Tier 6 just aren't good enough to be used to push one of these ships out. I'm running the T61, which has decent acoustics, 3-kilometer torpedo detection and 4-kilometer ship detection, but that's kind of the same quality of acoustics that we have on most of the cruisers that are listed there, or at least within striking distance of being very similar, which means that as a T61, I can't like see you in your smoke, run up there and hit my acoustics to push you out, because you've got the same quality of acoustics as nears makes no difference. And thus that means that your guns, which are bigger and have a little bit slower rate of fire, but still pretty good DPM, can just destroy me if I try a push like that. So for the T61 to try to dislodge one of these cruisers is almost it's just a terrible suggestion. I won't do it. As a result, I'm using my acoustics more in a defensive posture. I'm running a screen in front of my backline ships. I've got cruisers behind me, or battleships, or what have you, and I'm ahead of them running my acoustics to watch for torpedoes. That's good, but it means I'm not using those acoustics to get damage. I'm using them to keep my ships safe so that we can do more damage slowly over time. And that's a little bit less effective as far as doing any alpha strike or any sort of aggressive push, right? So these cruisers are able to sit in their smoke, and they're basically safe from all destroyers. Pretty much any DD without acoustics can't do much, and because you're even at a worse advantage than T61, or a worse disadvantage. And T61 can't do much because the rate of fire, the DPM, and everything is just not balanced there between a destroyer and a cruiser. And that's okay, it doesn't have to be, but with as many smoke cruisers as are out there, it's really tough. Another challenge is for aircraft carriers. Aircraft carriers would have to do basically blind fire strikes in smoke cruisers based on our best intelligence about them. So a CV is going to run in there with their airplanes, try a random drop kind of in a smoke cloud, and hope they get a big hit, while giving up a lot of their airplanes in the process, because they're just going to be getting hosed down by ships they can't see with anti-aircraft fire. This is particularly bad with the Huanghe, which has 70 as an, or 65, I guess, as an AA rating. Very capable AA platform, the Huanghe. And as a result, like, if you've got multiple Huanghes, especially chain smoking, staying together, and we saw a lot of patterns where fleets would stay close together to share that AA. We're seeing a lot of very coordinated sailing play. Not always perfectly coordinated, but you're at least seeing these clusters of ships. Well, anybody who's played an aircraft carrier knows that that is a tough nut to crack. And unless your ships with the big guns are breaking up those groups and causing people to scatter, it's very difficult for CVs to do much more than spot and clean up stragglers who get away from the herd. So I'm not here to say, oh, getting rid of these smoke cruisers is just a buff to CVs, because if you look at our next bans, these were restrictions. We banned the 2 best carriers at this tier. Ryujo and Loewenhardt are gone. Now, I don't think this means that we're not going to see carriers. I think we're going to see a shift to Ranger and Ark Royal, maybe in the other order, maybe Ark Royal first. Ark Royal can drop 3 torpedoes. It's got carpet bombs for cleaning up small targets or starting fires on large ones. I think we're still going to see aircraft carriers, but we're not going to see Loewenhardt and Ryujo anymore this season. I think reducing some of the smoke there is going to be helpful. There's another class of ship that has a hard time with these smoke cruisers as well, which is on your team. Maybe your team has 4 smoke cruisers, a destroyer, and a battleship. Well, if your destroyer smokes up and your cruisers smoke up, and your battleship's there and your carrier's flying around, but nobody can see the carrier, nobody can see the smoke cruisers, nobody can see the smoke DD, your battleship is going to get all the heat because he's the only target available to the enemy team. We talk about rodeo clowning a lot on my stream and on my YouTube channel, where sometimes as a DD, I'm trying to get spotted in order to force the enemy to split their fire between me and my allied ships to save or reduce the damage to one of my allied ships. That's a thing that is hard to do when everybody's in smoke, and or it's really expensive to do it because that means you wasted your smoke consumable. You pop smoke, your battleship gets in trouble, and you're like, great, now I gotta leave my smoke to rodeo clown for this guy, whether you're a DD or cruiser or whatever. Typically don't recommend rodeo clowning in a cruiser. I would do it in a destroyer. So that's making life difficult for battleships out there. I think what we're gonna see here is an increase in destroyer capability, a small increase in aircraft carrier capability, because I think people are still going to stay together and be a tight cluster, which is going to make CVs have a hard job. And I think you're going to see a little bit less burning down of the battleship as the only exposed captain out there. I know, what are people going to be switching to from these cruisers? I think maybe things like Devonshire, which is like a London without smoke. I think we're going to see Trento be more effective. If it can see targets, Devonshire can do great work. I think you might see a few more Pensacola's. It's got a 55 AA rating and 203mm guns with a decent range in the mid-15s. I don't know exactly what we're going to see, but I'm really excited to find out. And I think, like I said, I think we're still going to see aircraft carriers. Ark Royal, Ranger are still going to show up. We may see some folks run Wesser for the AP rockets against cruisers, because people are running a lot of cruisers. It means there's going to be citadels that you can get with the Wesser. Furious may or may not make much of an appearance. I don't know that it's really that strong for competitive. It does have carpet bombs, but if people have access to Ark Royal, they're going to probably take that one instead if they're going to run a British CV. So I guess those are kind of my general thoughts there, guys. I'm really interested to see what this next week of Clan Battles brings. I hope that it's as interesting for you as it is for me, and we will catch you guys in the next battle. Until then, take care of each other, be nice, and we'll see you guys in the next battle. Thanks a lot, Captains. Bye.